start with the samosa recipe. Now to make the dough, I'm taking 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour and 1/4 of a cup of plain flour or maida. I'm adding a pinch of salt and mixing the flour and the salt well. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oil and I'm going to mix everything really well till you're able to hold the flour in your hand like this. Then you're going to add little water at a time. So I might have used about 4 to 5 tablespoons of water and make this dough into a nice firm yet elastic kind of dough. So keep kneading it for about a minute or so and then just leave it aside or to rest for 5 minutes. After that, we're going to dust our surface with a little bit of the flour and coat the dough with the flour. And now you're going to roll it into 1-inch thickness like this, into a big square like this. You should be able to lift the dough so that it doesn't stick to the surface. Then I'm going to use my pizza cutter, or you can use a knife and just cut it into a square shape. You don't throw off the dough, that sides, you can use that again. Reuse it to make more samosas. So now I've got 3 even sized pattis. Now I'm going to cut them into halves. Now I'm going to take one tip and bring it to the edge like that, and then again like that. Seal this part which I'm pressing down, and then just take it in the palm of your hand like this. Fill it up with this keema. Now I'll leave a link to this keema recipe in the description box as well as the comment section. And then just push the keema down, apply some water to the top triangle like this, and then just fold it over tightly and seal the samosa. Now we're going to be deep frying this, so this shouldn't open, otherwise all the keema will go into the oil. It will be a fiasco. So seal it nicely so that there's no opening, no loose ends. Take your time with it. So with this amount of dough, I got about 12 samosas of this size. Now you can make these samosas, freeze them in your freezer and fry them whenever you want. It lasts for a month in the freezer and for about say 3 or 4 days in the normal fridge. So like this, make the samosas, and then all you have to do is just deep fry them till they're nice and golden brown in color. Now I could have left the keema recipe at the end of the video, but then the video becomes very long. So I'll leave a link below, as well as at the end of the video you will see a screen with the keema on it. Just click on it and it will take you directly to the keema recipe. So enjoy this lovely samosas with some ketchup or chutney and enjoy it. They're nice and crispy and the inside is amazingly delicious. Let me open up one for you and show you. Start with today's Goan roulade. Now here I have 5 to 6 dried red chilies, 1 inch of ginger, about 8 cloves of garlic, 1 inch of cinnamon, 10 peppercorns and about 7 cloves. And here I have 1/4 cup of vinegar. We're going to grind all these spices along with the vinegar. No water needs to be added, just vinegar. And you're going to get this lovely thick paste. And I'm also going to retain the water, that is 1/2 a cup. Now here I've taken 1 small potato, washed it well, peeled it. And now we're going to cut it into thin strips like this. So we want the strips to be of this size. And then I'm going to put these potato strips into some water so that they don't discolor, because I have to prep up the carrot and the bacon, etc. So it will take some time. So I'm just going to put the potato in some water. Now here I've taken 1 carrot, washed it well, peeled it, cut off the tips and cut them into halves like this, and again into another half. And then I like to take out this center white portion. I discard that part. And then I'm going to cut them into similar strips just like the potato. And once you cut that, just set it aside. So now we have our potato and carrots ready. And I'm going to take some bacon slices. Now I'm using chicken bacon and just cut it up into thin strips. You can use regular bacon too, and set this aside as well. Now I've taken 2 pieces of butter paper and I'm going to place 1 large chicken breast between it, and I'm going to just use my mallet and mash it up to a very fine slice, and then I'm going to cut it up into 2 halves like this, and again continue mashing till I get a very thin piece of this chicken. Now I'm going to apply some of this ground paste generously on both the pieces, and then I'm going to place the potato, some slices of potato, some slices of carrot and bacon, as much or as little as you want. And then we're going to tightly roll this up. And just so that it remains intact, we're just going to tie it up with some twine or some string. If you don't have twine or string, you can just use a toothpick and seal up the edge. So I'm just doing this with 2 large pieces. You can do it with as many pieces as you want. So now I'm going to heat some oil in a pan, about half a tablespoon of oil in a pan. And once the oil is hot, I'm going to take 1 small onion which I've chopped really fine, and I'm going to saute it till it's nice and translucent. Then I'm going to add this masala paste that we have and saute that really well. Next, I'm going to place these 2 rolled up pieces of chicken or roulades into the spice paste and coat them with this spice paste. We're going to turn them in intervals so that the chicken from a pink color becomes into a white color. Then we're going to add this masala water. That's all the water we're going to add. We don't want a very runny gravy, but a thick consistency gravy. And pour this gravy over the chicken pieces. Now we're going to add the remaining sliced potatoes that we didn't use. You can also add the carrots. And we're going to put a lid on it and cook this on a low flame for 15 minutes till the chicken is nice and cooked. And keep turning the chicken in intervals. And keep an eye on it. Now I'm just going to add some salt to taste and also a pinch of sugar. Mix everything well. And again we're going to cover and cook this just for another 5 minutes on a low flame. Now if you want a little thinner gravy, you can add some more water, like 1/4 cup of water, but I like it thick like this. And after 5 minutes, we're going to turn off the heat and our chicken roulade is all ready. Now we just have to do two or three steps. One is we're going to garnish it with some coriander leaves. And now we have to cut off the string or the twine or the toothpicks. Don't forget to take off the string. We just used it so that you seal it up and it doesn't open up when cooking. And now what I like to do is you can keep it like this, but I like to cut it up into a small pieces like this. I'll just show you. So I take one piece. Now here I'm just cutting it up into half, but I like to cut it up into thinner slices so that people, when you're eating it, it's easier for us to eat. And you see on the inside how well the carrot, the potato is cooked, the bacon is cooked, and the chicken is nice and white and cooked. So a lovely Goan roulade is all ready to enjoy. I hope you try out this recipe. So friends, let's start with today's lovely Goan meatball curry. Now in the ingredients, we're going to use some whole spices and red chilies. Now here I've taken about 8 dried red chilies, about 6 cloves, 15 peppercorns, 1 cardamom, 1 inch of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds, 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, and 1 teaspoon of poppy seeds. I'm also going to be using about 3/4 of a cup of freshly grated coconut. Now I'm also going to be using 200 grams of mince. I'm going with chicken. You can use beef or mutton. Now I'm going to grind all these whole spices along with the coconut and about half a cup of water, and we're going to get this very fine paste. Now we're also going to use 1/4 teaspoon of haldi powder, 1 medium-sized onion, 1.5 teaspoon of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of ginger, 1 medium-sized tomato, and 1 light green chili chopped fine. We're also going to use the masala water. Now I'm going to add this haldi powder and this ginger garlic paste to my masala paste and mix it really well. I'm going to now roast 2 tablespoons of besan or chickpea flour for just a minute till you get the aroma of the flour. I'm going to add this to the chicken mince, or if you're using beef or mutton. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of our spice paste. We're going to add the green chili and we're going to add salt, and we're going to mix all of this really, really well together. Then I'm going to make small balls like this. So with this 200 grams of chicken mince that I used, I got about 12 or 15 balls of meatballs, and that's enough for a family of 4. Now I'm just going to lightly, I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon of oil in a pan and just lightly fry these balls, not completely, for less than a minute. I'm just going to toss them around, and once I find that they're just a little bit coated, and with the oil, I'm going to take them off immediately. So just for about a minute or so, I'm just going to lightly toss them and fry them in the oil. So do that with all of them. Now, if you find that your mixture is a little bit, loose and you're not able to form the balls, just add a little more of the roasted besan. And once this is done, just set these fried balls aside. Now we're going to make the curry. So I've heated about 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm going to add the curry leaves. I'm going to add my chopped onion and I'm going to fry it really well. I'm then going to add my tomato and fry it till it becomes nice and soft and cooked. Then I'm going to add the masala paste that we ground. And I'm going to fry this masala paste for a whole 5 minutes till you find that the masala starts oozing a little bit of oil. Now friends, all the ingredients along with the method is going to be down in the description box below, just below this video. So don't worry about noting down the amount of spices. Everything is given down below this video in the description box. So fry this paste really well. This is really key to getting the perfect meatball curry. And now we're going to add this masala water. This masala water is nothing but when you grind the masala in the mixer pot, you just put a little bit of water and clean up the pot. That's the masala water. It is full of flavors, so don't throw it away. Now I'm going to add just about half a cup of water, a little at a time, just checking, to what thickness I want the curry to. So accordingly, you add the water, whether you want a thicker curry or you want a thinner curry. So just add a little at a time, and keep mixing it. Now we're going to add some salt to taste. I'm also going to add a pinch of sugar. And then I'm going to add the vinegar. Now same with the vinegar also, just add according to your taste. Mix everything together and just give this curry a little bit of a taste. Whether you need to add more salt, whether you need to add more sugar, more vinegar. And now once the curry is all done, you're going to gently add these meatballs into the curry. Now very lightly just coat the meatballs with this curry. See that they don't break. And now since we have lightly fried them in the pan, they don't disintegrate. So, that's a good idea. So cover and cook this for about 5 minutes on a low flame. And that's it, friends. Your, curry is all ready. You just garnish it with some lovely chopped up coriander. And this goes amazingly well with some pulao or even some pao. It's just amazing. So do give this recipe a try, guys. So friends, let's start with today's lovely Aroz pulao. Now here I've washed and soaked 1 cup of basmati rice for 15 minutes. These are our whole spices. We're also going to use 1 medium onion, 1 medium tomato which I've chopped. We're also going to use 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste and 1 light green chili chopped fine, as well as half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder and 2 soup cubes or stock cubes. Now in a pan, I've heated about 1 tablespoon of ghee or clarified butter. Now we're going to add our whole spices, that is the peppercorns, the cinnamon and the cloves. Fry them a little, and then we're going to add our medium sized onion which I've chopped. We're going to fry the onion till it's nice and translucent. Now once our onion is done, this takes about half a minute or so, we're going to add our light green chili and fry the chili well. Now we're going to add our ginger garlic paste and fry the ginger garlic paste as well. Next goes in the tomato. Fry the tomato well. Now we're going to add our haldi powder or turmeric powder that gives a lovely light yellow color to the pulao, and we're going to add our soup cubes. Now mix everything well, and we're just going to cover and cook this for about a minute so everything comes together really nicely. Now after a minute, just give it a nice gentle stir. And now I've drained the water from the rice and I'm going to add this rice to the bagar. Now fry the rice well in the bagar for about half a minute. On a low to medium flame. Now I'll be adding about 1/4 cup of green peas, but this is completely optional. And I'm going to add 2 cups of hot water. So we've used 1 cup of rice, we're going to use 2 cups of hot water. So I'm going to add the green peas, mix it up well. And now I'm going to add the hot water. Mix everything nicely. Now we're not going to add any salt because the soup cubes already have the salt content. Now we're going to let our mixture come to a nice boil on a high flame. Once it comes to a boil, just lower the flame and cover and cook for about a minute or two, for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now all the water has evaporated, so just gently ruffle up the rice a bit, very lightly. And now I'm going to place a flat tawa on the flame and then keep this vessel on top of the tawa, cover it and cook it for another 2 to 3 minutes. This will, give us a very light pulao where the grains of rice are nice and separated and they're not mushy. So you can see our lovely pulao is ready and the grains of rice are nice and separated. So you don't have this mushy pulao, but you have a very nice light pulao. And that's it, friends, and our lovely Goan Aroz pulao or pilaf is ready. This goes excellently well with some shakuti. I'll link all my chicken. So for today's recipe, first we're going to prep all our veggies. So I've washed my French beans really well, or farasvi as you call them, and I'm just going to chop them, sideways like this with a very sharp knife. I like to cut them small, but you can keep them long too. It all depends on what you like. I like to cut them into bite-sized pieces. Now I'm just going to wash the carrot, peel it, and I'd like to take out the center white part, and then again I chop it sideways into small little bits like this and set it aside. So you can always prep your veggies, a day ahead and keep. So I'm going to cut up my capsicum. I'm going to take up all this white stuff. And then I'm going to chop it up into small bits like this. So the choice is yours. You can cut it up into small bits or you can keep them even into long slivers. I like to cut them into small pieces because it's much easier to, eat them rather than the long, cut slices. But again, like I said, choice is all yours. And then I'm going to, chop up the spring onions. So first I like to chop the leaves up and then the onions. Now one tip here is soak these spring onions, before you start chopping them into some salt water for at least 15 minutes. Wash them well and give them a nice wipe with your kitchen napkin and then chop them up. Now I'm using salami. I'm just going to chop the salami, but you can use sausages, you can use ham, you can use bacon, prawns, the choice is yours. And I'm just going to add some salt to the eggs and just beat them up. And now I've added 6 cups of water to a pan. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare this sauce. So in a bowl, I've taken 2 tablespoons of soya sauce, 1 tablespoon of red chili sauce, then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Szechuan chutney or Szechuan sauce, 1 tablespoon of green chili sauce, 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Now I'm going to take 2 Maggi soup cubes and I'm going to add that. So you don't need to add any salt because these soup cubes have enough of salt content. So the only salt that we added was when we were beating up the eggs. Otherwise, these soup cubes make up for the salt. So don't add any extra salt. And then 1.5 teaspoon of pepper powder. And we're going to mix all of this and set this sauce aside, which we're going to add later. So now our water has started to boil. And now we're just going to add the noodles and we're going to cook it as per the instructions on the pack. So, all types of noodles have their own instructions as to how many minutes you have to cook them. So cook them well and then just strain them. And after you strain them, just add about a teaspoon of oil or half a teaspoon of oil and just, ruffle them up like this and set them aside so that they don't get, sticky. Now in a pan, I'm just going to add half a teaspoon of oil or 1/4 teaspoon of oil and I'm just going to add the egg and just scramble the egg up and set it aside. Then I'm going to fry all the veggies really well on a high flame for very little while till they're nice and crispy. So what you can do is, keep all your veggies chopped up ready. And then all you have to do is just get your noodles ready, just fry everything and then assemble everything. And this chow has to be had really piping hot. So, that's how. Anyway, now so I've added 1 tablespoon of oil to a wok and to that I've added the spring onion part as well as half of the greens. I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. I'm going to fry all of this really, really well. Now you could add even chopped up ginger and garlic. And now after this, I'm going to add all our fried veggies and the fried salami and the scrambled eggs to this and fry everything really well on a medium to high flame. Now once you've done that, just add all the noodles and just, mix them up well with the veggies. Now I'm going to add the sauces. And that's it, friends. Just fry this on a very high flame for half a minute or for a minute and turn off the flame. Put it into your serving bowl, sprinkle some spring onions and it's all ready. And like I said, have this piping hot. So give this recipe a try, guys. So friends, let's see today's beautiful recipe of Russian salad. Now here I've taken about 2 medium-sized potatoes, washed them well, peeled them, and I'm going to chop them up into these small, even-sized cubes. Now I've kept some water at the side because I'm going to chop these potatoes into small cubes and then I'm going to put them in the water so that they don't discolor. So we want them into this even-sized small cubes. Next we're going to cube up the pineapple. So just remove the center and then cube the remaining pineapple. You're not going to use the center. So I've used about 3 large slices of pineapple. So basically you require at least, 3/4 of a bowl of all of the ingredients. Next I'm going to take 2 carrots. Now I love using these orange carrots, but even if you get the red carrots, it's fine. Now just cut them up. Now I would like to remove the center, the center part. And then we're going to chop them up into small cubes. We don't want very small cubes, just about this size. Now I've soaked about 8 to 10 French beans in some water, to which I've added a little salt for 10 minutes, washed them, dried them well, and then remove the edges. You need to remove the edges, otherwise you'll get the stringy kind of, consistency. And again, chop the French beans. Now you can prep all of this and keep everything ready, and when you want to make your salad, you just go ahead. Now I've taken half an apple and I've removed the core and I've removed the peel also. Don't throw away the peel. You can eat the peel. It's, very rich in vitamins. But for the salad, I have removed the peel. Now this apple adds real crunch to this salad. Now you can go with the entire apple also. So all our ingredients are ready. Now we need to cook the potatoes. So I've just taken some water, about 4 to 5 cups of water, let it heat a bit, and I'm going to add the potatoes. Then I'm going to bring the potatoes to a gentle boil, checking in between. Now we don't want overcooked potatoes. We don't want it to be of the boiled potatoes consistency. We want them to be firm, yet they should be cooked. So just take them out in the middle and just check them with your knife. The knife should go, completely through the potato, or you can even, taste the potato and see whether it's cooked. We don't want it mushy, but we want it to be cooked. So keep checking. It should take about 5 minutes, and then drain the potatoes out and put them in a bowl. Now to the same boiling water, we're going to add the chopped up carrots. Now we don't want to overcook the carrots, so just for a minute, we're going to let them heat in this water. And again, we're going to drain the carrots and put them in a bowl. We're going to do the same thing with our French beans also. Just, kind of cook them just for a minute, not even a minute. Like the minute it hits the water, just for some time, let it boil and then take it out, because we don't want them mushy, but we want them to be firm, yet they should be cooked. So when you eat them in the salad, you don't find them extra crunchy, but just the right texture. Now you can increase the amount of the veggies also. You can add more carrots, you can add more French beans, you can even add green peas if you like. So now we are ready with all our ingredients. So now we can start making our lovely Russian salad. So I've taken a large salad mixing bowl. I'm going to add the potatoes. I'm going to add the French beans. Now try not to get any of the water of the vegetables into the salad. Then I'm going to add my carrots. I'm going to add my chopped up apples, my pineapples, and I'm going to mix all of this really well together. Doesn't it look lovely already with all the lovely colorful veggies and fruits? Now I'm going to season it with some pepper powder. So I'm going with half a teaspoon, but you can add to taste. Then I'm going to add some salt. Mix everything well together so that the salt and the pepper nicely coat all the veggies and fruits. Give it a taste, guys, because then you come to know if you want to add more salt, if you want to add more pepper. And then I'm going to go with 1 cup of mayo, but then I really added a little bit more later, about half a cup more. So you add the mayo also according to your, how much mayo you want in your Russian salad. Now those who want to keep it completely veg can go for the eggless mayo. Otherwise you can go for the classic mayo. And just mix everything, and don't forget to chill it before serving it, because it should be had nice and chilled. And this is a lovely salad. Do try it out, friends. So let's see this beautiful custard and jelly fruit salad. So here I've kept 3 cups of water to boil. Now today I'm going to be using this Wakefield jelly strawberry. It's not a sponsored video, but it says that it's 100% vegetarian. There is no gelatin, and it even sets without refrigeration. So I'm using the strawberry flavored jelly. So I've just taken the 2 packets that are there in it, and I've mixed them up well together. And now the water has come to a boil. I'm going to switch it off and let it cool for 1 minute. And then I'm going to pour the water into the jelly powder. It says not to pour the jelly powder into the hot water, but to pour the hot water into the jelly powder. Now once I've whisked it in really well, I'm going to pour this into a flat dish like this. and I'm going to let it cool for some time, and then I'm going to refrigerate it for about 45 minutes. Now let's prepare the custard. So here I've taken 2 tablespoons of custard powder. Again, I'm using Bakefield, not sponsor, but I'm using the vanilla flavor. And again, it says over here that there is no egg in this custard powder. So this is a pure veg recipe. So I've taken 2 tablespoons of the mixture, and I'm going to add half a cup of cold milk. And we're going to whisk it really well so that there are no lumps. It should be lump free. Now I've boiled 1 liter of milk. I'm going to add half a cup of sugar. You can add even 1 cup if you want it more on the sweeter side. Mix till all of, and now here I'm going to grind a powder of some almonds, pistas, and some elaichi powder. I'm going to make a very fine powder like this. We're going to add that powder to the milk and see that all the sugar has dissolved really well. Now we're going to add in the custard mixture, and again we're going to stir till it's very thick, and it becomes thick within like half a minute. It starts to thicken. So you're going to transfer this mixture to a large bowl, and now we're going to add some ice cubes to it. Mix the ice cubes in well. We're doing this because we want it to be in a runny custard and not a set custard. Now I'm going to cut the jelly, and I also have some cut up fruit. I've taken strawberries and grapes. You can use any fruits of your choice. And then after that, just with a with a spatula, just loosen it up and you get these lovely jelly squares. Now I'm going to add these chopped fruits. You can add chiku, you can add apples, you can add bananas. I just wanted to keep it simple, so I just added strawberries and grapes. And now I'm going to add the jelly squares. And I'm going to give everything a good mix. Now, to be honest with you, I had made 2 sets of these, and one I was very impatient, so the squares did not form. The other I kept it for a whole 45 minutes, so I used that for decorating. Being honest with you guys, and so I just decorated it with the set jelly squares and the lovely fruit. And if you would like to see more videos like this, then don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up. Also, by clicking the thumbs up icon, also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and become a part of Akshata's recipes. Once you have subscribed, there is a small little bell icon that will pop up, so just click on that. That way, whenever I put up a new recipe or a new video, you get a message for the same. So on that note, I'll say bye, and I'll catch you in my next video sooner than you think. This is Akshata saying bye, take care, stay healthy, stay fit, be kind and loving to one another. So till we meet again, bye.